So for this video, we're going to use 3 cups of beans, pepper to taste the taste that you want, onions, long pointed peppers. We're going to need our bowl and our turning stick, that is one of the key ingredients, and then your salt. That is all that we need, and of course we need our blender. So I'm going to get started. Welcome to this video. In this video I'll be making akara with you, akara or kosai or whatever else you call it. I just know it by those 2 names. So the first thing we're going to do is get our beans ready. I used the dry beans, the dried and washed beans, so it's easier for me. If you want to wash your beans, you can go ahead and wash your beans, whichever one is easier for you. For me, I just prefer to use this because washing beans is very stressful for me. Remember, this is akara, it's not moi moi, it doesn't need too many fancy ingredients. All it needs is salt. All you need is your beans, your peppers, and your little tiny ingredients, and of course you need your turning stick because you need to really beat this akara. So akara needs to be fluffy and double in size when you're making it, and that is what makes it really like fluffy. That depends on how much you have really fluffed your akara. So I'm going to get started now. And another thing that's really important is the quantity of water that you put in this when you're about to blend it. Usually if you're in Nigeria, when you go to the people that grind it, they grind it for you without any water, and then they rinse the beans they rinse it in a different container and give you that one to go home with. So that one is the one that you can, the rinsed one is the one that you can add as you go if you want to. Maybe it's too thick and everything, which is easier for you, because once you put too much water in it, it becomes too watery, and then there's no how you can do it that you can get the akara to be the shape and the size that you want. It just ends up being flat on the yes. So I'm going to go ahead and fry it and blend it now. So maybe I'll just use about half a cup of water and just see if my blender can go ahead and blend it without water. I will try, but I don't want to break my blender, so I'll just put little quantity of water as I go. So I'm going to show you how I go about doing that. Put all the ingredients that I need in the blender, and I haven't put any water, just the water that's come with the beans, and it's about 200 ml. So I'm just going to give it a go just to see that it would blend and not break my blender. But just in case, I have just a tiny bit of water in here that I will plan to use to blend the beans. So I'm gonna give it a go. So I've blended the beans and this is what it looks like. I'm happy with the way it looks, not too much water, but so I have tried to rinse out my blender, and very carefully I put very little water. I hope I don't come to regret this, but yes, anyway, so this is what you do. Remember, what you want is you don't want it to be too watery, because that's what spoils your akara, that's how they call it in my language, and Bigala they say akala. Anyways, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fluff this. And I know some people use the cake processor thing, what's it called, the hand mixer. Some people use the hand mixer. You can use that if you want, but I was taught to do it this way, so I've always just done it this way. So what you want is you want to fluff until it changes color. It becomes lighter, and it doesn't double per se, but it just becomes fluffier. So it's a bit, this is the color now, and when I fluff I will show you what it looks like afterwards. And that's what you want it fluffed, lighter color, and a bit double, not doubled, but yes, just a bit. This is what it looks like now. I have been fluffing for about maybe 4 or 5 minutes. I remember when I was younger, you'd be doing this, one of the aunties would give you to do this, or my mom, and you'd be doing this, and you go and say, aunties, and then you say, auntie, is it okay? say no, go and do it a bit more. So you go again and you do, and you fluff. They say, Auntie, is it okay? No, you mean a bit, do it again. So yeah, every time I do this, I always remember that time of my life when I had to do that, because I always wanted to be in the kitchen with my aunties or something, or my mom, whoever was in the kitchen. Yeah, so it's okay now. You can fluff a bit more if you want, but it looks okay. If you look at the way it looked like before and now, there's a difference in the way they look. And you can tell the color's lighter, it's fluffier, and is good to go. We're ready to fry. So now we're going to go to the fire. Now it's time for us to fry. With your oil as well, you don't want to be stingy with your oil. You want to put a lot of oil because you don't want, it's just like making puff. You don't want your akara to lack oil when you're frying it. It needs that oil so that it can, when you put it, it can bounce up and float around and be happy. Be generous with your oil. Do not go around trying to manage your oil. You're not making pancakes, you're not making abada, you're not making anything that needs very little oil. You're making something that needs a lot of oil. So anyways, while the oil is getting hot, I have my fluffed akara here, and I have this and I have this tiny bowl. So what this bowl is for is I'm going to put only the quantity I'm going to fry into this place. You don't want to take this whole salt and pour it into here. You want to take just the quantity that you're frying, put it in a smaller bowl, and then put the salt that you need into that bowl and then fry. Remember, too much salt is not good. Try to reduce the quantity. Anyway, so I'm going to do that now. Take a tiny scoop, not a tiny scoop. Usually I take a scoop that's big enough to fill up the bowl. And then I put the salt that I need, mix it together, and then I fry. When I was taught that if you put salt in the whole big bowl, when you start to fry, it would scatter a lot, because this one that is left would just scatter. So I've always done that, and I think it works. The video cut me short. I'm just going to wait for this one to get a bit hotter, and then I will put the salt and then fry. So I put the salt now, and I'm mixing because I'm ready to fry it. This is what it looks like. Okay, and now the next thing is to fry. Let's test the oil. That is what you want. You want to put it, thank you. You want to put it in, and you want it to float. You don't want it to sink to the bottom, and it sinks because it's heavy. So so it's ready, and I'm just going to go and put it in. Stuck together. So you grab with the spoon like this and put it in like that. You also need to have your fork handy because you're going to use it to flip it.
Why is a fork handy?
I'm just going to do that until my pot is full. This is the akara frying. So now you need your fork so you can flip to see. Okay, so that was the first one I put, and flip. You don't want it to burn. Just flip them over and allow the other side to fry. Kind of forgot to talk in the middle of the video. Okay, so I'm just going to flip it over and we'll see. Okay, so far so good. I am happy with the way it looks. I would just let it fry for like less than a minute, and then maybe 30 seconds more, and then I will take them off the fire and fry the next batch. So when I was younger, I used to like those little, really tiny ones. They do that a lot in my village. Let's see. So for those ones, they don't use the tablespoon, they use the teaspoon, and those women are really quick, like very quickly. So I'm going to do some of the small ones now. I'm still using a tablespoon. I'm just taking really small quantities and putting them in. And another thing is, if you're frying more than once, like I'm doing, by the second time that it's frying, you want to reduce your fire because the oil is really hot now. So you just want to reduce your fire so that you give the this new second batch or third batch a time for it to fry.
There was two yellow dots popping out.
A time for it to fry properly in the fire. So we're done with the akara. This is what it looks like. It's nice and fluffy and it's not too oily. That's what we want. And if we break it open, this is what it looks like inside. So we're going to have ours now for breakfast, and we're going to have it with this kunungari, garing kunu that we got from Nigeria. It's millet flour, millet powder. We're going to take that and we're going to enjoy. And I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I have enjoyed making the akara with my little humans. Yeah, so thank you for watching. If you come across this video, you're looking to how to make easy peasy akara, not too much fuss and everything, I hope this video helps you.